Alright. We've got the one box, and I don't even remember what I ordered. I wonder if maybe my sleepers. That's right. It's Dan, which is good timing because season 2 is about to start airing in the next couple of weeks. July is when the summer stuff starts, and Dan season 2 is there among them. I'm gonna put this up here. But wait a second. Season 1. Gee, kids, intriguing. So where on here? Yeah, I thought this would have an English dub. And this here says A, so it's probably region A only. Okay. And I think I got a bit of a collector's edition here. I'll have to double check for something when I upload the video. Oh. Alien. What's this in the background? I see a bunch of... That is a face. Oh, that's neat. The art's kind of a little all over the place. Not in a bad way. Just the kind of... Because I remember that character. Turbo Granny, of course. Oh, it feels like there's something else in here. A giant sticker of, not exactly Turbo Granny, but basically Turbo Granny. That's right, I usually try to keep these in here. Maybe there's enough space. It feels like there might be. Interesting. There we go. It'll barely fit in there, but I think it will. We've got a booklet. And there's a strange texture to all of these things. Not sure what it is. Maybe a bit of a more papery versus cardboardy feel. Postcards. Hold on, there's definitely one hiding there. Perhaps this is a good reminder to all of you. I was like, oh yeah, all those characters. Now I remember him. So of all the characters they showed, he was the one that I didn't remember the most. But now I kind of do. That was happening at the very end. It kind of ended on a bit of a... I'm not even sure if a cliffhanger is the right word, didn't it? Well... Interesting. So this isn't fitting in there as well as I would have hoped. It looked like it was just a tiny bit bigger than the stickers. I was hoping beyond hope, but yeah, see that weird texture kind of makes all this stuff have a little more friction to it. And then the other thing is Dungeon People. Complete collection. A show that looks like it's pretty simple, but like a simple storytelling, but it has some surprising elements to it. That was cool, yeah. So this one was a kind of a surprising title. Let's see, that's an English dub. Pretty sure I was watching this one Japanese with English subtitles. Region A. Alright, yeah, I just had some thoughts. I don't know that it's anything I'm going to really talk about out loud. Just because it's something else on the side, but, you know, I was just reminiscing a bit on this. It's a small update this week, but here's this week's physical anime collection update. Alright, let's start getting through the list. But I accidentally left that window open. Sorry about that. Because I know at the very top, Dragon Ball Daima with my Friday friend, we watched the first 4 episodes. So the new thing about this for me is watching the English dub. I watched it as it came out, Japanese with English subtitles, and I would have to say there was something endearing about that, but dub seems okay. Maybe a couple things about it that feel a little weird, but you know, overall it seemed fine, and for me it was just kind of neat. The first 4 episodes aren't the highest quality of the episodes I think Daima has to bring us, but you know, it was just really nice. I think I warned my friend that this time I wasn't going to be skipping the opening because there was just something about that opening that was just really nice when it was airing, and still really like it. It's just kind of neat. But yeah, fun enough stuff. Not sure what else I have to really talk about. Beginning after the end, episode 11. So watching episode 11, I remembered what I wasn't remembering about episode 10 that I wanted to say on here. That's a fuck those fucking royal fucks. Bunch of fucking thieves, if you fucking ask me. But, yeah. Bad attitude. Hated them. This one, I guess he found sword, and it's a special sword. It is what it is. I just don't know if there's much purpose. I can understand not many other people keeping up with it. Its ratings aren't the greatest. I thought that there was a lot more going for it than I think the average rating would have, but you know, that could just be my fantasy or isekai junkie or Poke no Rostos. Two Perfect Saint, episode 11. I think how to put it? I think it's coming together better than it felt like it would, like halfway through, or maybe even the first or the second quarter of the show. Like, it felt like it was detached too much from its premise, but it also feels like at this point it really has been working up to this point, and it's paced surprisingly well, even if it sort of felt like it wouldn't be. But I think a lot of those just came with the expectations of what the genre would bring, and this one I think it really just has a story to tell. So in that regard, it's been really neat. There was an explosion in this episode, and I thought that even though it wasn't like a highly animated one or something, there was something viscerally satisfying about it. And I don't mean like in a seeing somebody get their comeuppance, but just sort of like, I think a large part of it was really good sound design and really good interaction with the scenes they did have. I don't know. I thought that was actually a really quite neat thing. And I've been debating whether or not to say it because is that spoiler or not, but I think it's okay. I try not to spoil too much, but I think that's okay. Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows, episode 11. Because last week was... Yes, that's right. Last week's was high budget on looking through a wall for some reason. It was interesting, just kind of hard to say exactly why they did it. And this episode was all of that stuff, which I guess was okay, I guess. Not sure what else to say about it. That's right, it set that up at the very end for something that could be a core season finale. So, good stuff. Last week I speculated that I'd maybe not watched the latest Tegonia, and today I fired it up and was like, oh yeah, there's 2 episodes I haven't seen, so I must have skipped an episode last week. Probably in the juggling of stuff between computers, I accidentally closed the tab or something like that. I don't know, because I didn't find the tab. Because normally I watch stuff on this computer, but when I'm playing Terraria, I can't like have something on in the background while watching, unless I'm playing on a multiplayer server. But for me, it just means that the TV, I'm using the TV to actually watch stuff. Who'd have fucking thought? But I say all that, Tegonia episodes 9 and 10. I guess it's, again, setting up for a good core/season finale. Interesting stuff happened. It's a little weird. There's some elements of it that's just like that dumb fuck with the mohawk. I don't think I need to say more. If you're watching, you know what I mean. It's like, okay, yeah, I can understand why people would have bad blood on both sides, but you don't get to be the fucking aggressor and then say, yes, we're the same. It's like, no, you fucking aren't. I think at this point, I I think the trigger thing for me for that sort of thing actually happened with the, I think, third live-action Resident Evil movie, where it's just sort of like, okay, there's this zombie apocalypse thing, and you have this redneck in the middle of desert couple or something like that that set up a trap, and then they're like, oh, this person that we trapped that we were going to do horrible things to, they've killed one of us. Like, yeah, no fucking duh, you piece of shit animal. And, you know, it's like, well, in this case, it's kind of weird to say that because the guy's a giant monkey, quite literally. So calling him an animal actually seems not entirely. But, you know, the point is, you know, he just had a really stupid argument. I think there's a point to say it's like, we lost a lot of people too, and I know it was our fault, but I'm here sucking up my pride because I know that maybe we can do better, or something fucking like that. I don't know. I'm saying fuck a lot in this video. Jesus Christ. I think I'm just cranky. I haven't been giving myself enough sleep. But all that aside, you know, episode 10 setting up for something that's a bit of a season core finale, so I think that's fine. And I think it's kind of in line with the ideas of the show up to this point, so it should probably be fine. Apothecary Diaries, season 2, episode 44. Again, I'm 2 episodes behind everybody because I'm watching the dub. But let's see, that entertaining stuff. And again, one of the things that's nice about it is it has all these things that it brings together. To some degree, it kind of reminds me of One Piece, but with One Piece, it's kind of doing it just a whole bunch of stuff that you never know what's going to come back up, and some of it feels a little whimsical in a way, but at the same time, you know, I guess One Piece just does it enough that it makes that world feel big, whereas this one makes the plot just feel deep. Like, I would say that this one feels better in the regard to how it's bringing all its separate elements together, making them not so separate. But, you know, I've said that before about Apothecary Diary, and it's just good. It feels like there's a completeness to watching it that continues to get more complete as you go, which is just nice. Oh, Jesus Christ, they also revealed that. Yeah, Jesus. They had a lot of this stuff is coming together. It's good stuff, man. Old Crunchy Bumpkin, the Master Swordsman, episode 11. I think some of the fighting in this one was entertaining again. And I think what it set up to, I'm like, oh yeah, they've been kind of saying all episode that's what happened. Which makes me kind of curious if they actually were giving hints to the same sort of thing last episode and I didn't pick up on it. But overall, oh yeah, interesting. There could be stuff there. Interesting. Anyways, I guess pretty decent stuff. A pretty decent episode. Maybe, yeah, I guess it was episode 11, so episode 12 would be either a finale, a core finale, a season finale, a series finale. Doesn't feel like it would be a series finale if it was, but maybe a season or a core finale feels right. And maybe there's another episode after that, I don't know, but yeah, I guess it's about at the right place. If kind of missing out on a sense of purpose along the way, per se. Like, they gave the premise of a purpose, but I don't think they've actually been playing with it. But, you know, it's been entertaining despite that. Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, episode 11. I think it's entertaining. I think it's exactly where I said it would be based on the previous couple of episodes, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's been interesting. It's been entertaining. I like how the one lady is so unhinged, because it makes a lot of sense. Now, granted, you know, it's also satisfying because she's unhinged, but also good. And in certain ways, it just feels like the bad guys are just cannon fodder, not much thought. But, you know, at the same time, some of that almost doesn't matter. I guess where it is at the end doesn't necessarily have something that's like, okay, yeah, it's the wrap up to the big stuff that happened at the end. So, oh Jesus, I'm yelling. Sorry, y'all. I should edit it up, but I barely edit these videos, only if it's really important. Honor Atelier Meister, episode 12. I guess it comes to a sort of pause. A core finale, yeah. I guess we got introduced to certain elements that make a bigger overarching thing. Oh, that reminds me. Was that the other one? It occurred to me that two series, both Underwear Atelier Meister and maybe Country Bumpkin, both introduced characters named Hildegard, I think. Funny coincidence, unless I'm misremembering, but it was something I noticed just tonight while watching, I'm pretty sure, Country Bumpkin. I haven't gone back to check, but it's just like, wait, am I remembering that right? But anyways, Underwear Atelier Meister, episode 12, I think gave some hints as to certain things that are like, okay, that is why certain elements of this show haven't been lining up. They're amusing, a little weird, but amusing, and I don't want to elaborate, but if you've been watching it this far and you were thinking of skipping this episode, first of all, if you watched the 11th episode, you might as well watch the 12th episode, and yeah, some interesting stuff thrown at us there. Let me see. Reincarnated as a Neglected Noble, episode 10. I guess okay enough stuff. I saw that this one isn't rated that highly either, and that's, excuse me, interesting. And I'm sure the opening doesn't help too much, because it kind of not only gives the feel for what I would have thought that the show was going to be about, but at the same time, it's just sort of this, yeah, the main character is overweight, but why do you, every opening just begins with a pig thing. I'm like, you know, it feels weird, but it's better than I think the opening would make you think, in my opinion. But can I think of anything in particular in episode 10? Just neat stuff in there, I guess. I suppose one of the big problems with the show is it's hard to tell what the final destination of this show wants to be. There's certain interesting elements in place, but I guess it's, I don't know. Weird. All this stuff is about to end the next couple of weeks. So, Well, last but not least, we have Sword of the Demon Hunter, episode 12, which is the penultimate episode of this season/core, and finally is merging, I would say, some of the core setup stuff with some of the other stuff it's been doing. And I think it's setting itself up for a good, dramatic episode 13, possibly. So, I guess it's been pretty good, pretty nice. We'll have to see how it ends this season core. But, yeah, it's a good enough episode. Anything else to really talk about? I guess Five Nights at Freddy Dead by Daylight chapter comes out tomorrow. And I haven't been playing Dead by Daylight at all. I've just been too into Terraria. Just getting certain things done. You can really zone out in that. And I guess, as much as, if you think, okay, Giga plays a lot of Dead by Daylight, so that means, you know, he really likes playing those games with other people. I'm a little more of an introvert than I might come off as sometimes, because while I enjoyed the element of that game, which was kind of being playing it in order to be good at it, but not necessarily to be like hoarding it over people. Maybe to just be something that just makes it fun for other people. Maybe teach some people about it. Get some of my own stuff here and there. Maybe there's elements like that, but the fact that it's other people is what it makes that exhausting and hard for me to play that in long stints, I guess. Whereas Terraria, you really can just go off and do your own damn thing for however long you want. Which the last couple of days have been kind of exhausting, just because one of the main things I've been doing is having it on in the background while I'm trying to just wait for merchants to spawn in certain circumstances so that I can get certain things from them that otherwise I wouldn't get. You know, certain things that they sell. Don't know how much more to elaborate on in that regard, but it basically means that, you know, I'm not doing other things I would want to do because I need to do that. Because like one of the things I want to do is keep creating new worlds, go into the underground desert, look for more paintings, and just rinse, repeat. Because there's 2 paintings I'm still trying to get. Paintings is because the game technically considers them both paintings, but one of them is definitely not a painting from conceptually, but it's just a painting in the code. So I definitely want to get that. Once I do, I'm done with that. I've gotten all the paintings from the dungeon. I need some from presents. I want to collect wings and do some stuff with wings and... Yeah. I guess I'm just doing stuff and doing stuff. I might reach a pause point, but I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe I go completely back to Dead by Daylight. I don't know. I guess at this point I'm kind of zoning off in what I would even talk about. So let's go ahead and wrap that up. For those of you curious, I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 yet. I'm keeping my eye out for it, but I'm not giving it what I would call much effort. If I just happen to be next to a place that might sell one, I'd check in, but that's only been 3 checks so far. What I really want is for the ability to just place an order on Amazon, and then eventually Amazon says, okay, yeah, we're shipping you your Nintendo Switch 2. Which I'm pretty sure Amazon actually has pre-order pages for Nintendo Switch 2, but I got the impression, based on somebody's comment, but I think the way Google searches have responded to me suggests as much, that they've only extended the ability to pre-order the Switch to specific subsets of their demographics. And I don't know the details of that, but, it is what it is. And I guess I just need to keep taking a peek. Otherwise, this Thursday is Juneteenth. I hesitate to say that I know exactly what it is, and because it took me forever to even know what Labor Day and Memorial Day even were. They were just names to young me. But if I do believe Juneteenth is a celebration of the official end of slavery in the United States, officially being like when the Emancipation Proclamation was finally enforced in its final location, and that's pretty good. I hesitate to say slavery was freed because I think there's some elements of what some people do that are, for all intents and purposes, slavery, and some of them really just aren't as good as you would think. But I don't know. Sometimes that's thinking about it too much. But it's a federal holiday. Hopefully y'all enjoy the fact that now there's a federal holiday in June. That kind of makes June nice and breathable, in my opinion. Hopefully y'all had a nice Father's Day, and y'all have a nice week.